Are King Frederik X and Queen Mary of Denmark hiding a marital crisis at the top of the monarchy? Discover the behind-the-scenes story of a silent breakup that's rocking the Danish crown. Secrets, icy apparitions, evocative gestures. This report immerses you in the truth behind the perfect image. Subscribe, share this video, comment with your thoughts, and tell us, is the Danish fairy tale over? A silent shockwave is rippling through the Danish monarchy, a rupture invisible to the naked eye, but whose details, revealed by gestures, silences, and absences, are no longer deceiving. For months, King Frederik X of Denmark and his wife, Queen Mary, have embodied a captivating mystery for Danes and royal observers around the world. An emotional separation, perhaps already enacted in private, is taking shape behind the gilded screens of the monarchy. What many now call the silent royal breakup has gradually taken the form of a public enigma, made up of shifty glances, separate agendas, and missed events. This report takes you to the heart of a hushed marital drama, where appearances are saved but unease shines through. When Frederik ascended the throne on January 14, 2024, succeeding his mother Margrethe II, everything seemed harmonious. The royal couple appeared united by 2 decades of marriage and 4 children. Yet, a few stray glances, distant gestures, and a visible coldness in their official interactions fueled the first rumors. From Danish newspapers to Australian tabloids, everyone wondered, where had Mary and Frederik's once evident, touching bond gone? The romantic image of the Australian commoner turned queen is faltering in the face of a more bitter reality. Mary, long perceived as a modern, elegant, and devoted figure, has gradually faded. First, trips as a couple became rarer. Then, national events where each appeared separately. Finally, international trips where Frederik traveled alone or accompanied by other members of the royal family. Court advisors tried to reassure, speaking of a division of royal missions, but no one was fooled. The Danish people, very attached to the transparency of their institutions, quickly understood that something was wrong. Queen Mary, always upright, always smiling, never spoke publicly from such apparent distance. But her body language, analyzed in minute detail by experts, speaks volumes. During an official appearance in Aarhus, cameras captured a chilling moment. The king extended his hand toward his wife, who subtly looked away. A shudder ran through the room. A few weeks later, during the royal couple's visit to Sweden, Mary pointedly avoided walking too close to her husband. A palpable, almost cinematic tension. The rumors, once dismissed as fanciful, grew stronger. In November 2023, a photograph of Frederik in Madrid, in the company of a well-known Mexican socialite, sparked controversy. The embarrassed court contented itself with a brief denial. Mary, for her part, remained silent. But upon her return, she cancelled several public engagements. This gesture, unusual for her, spoke volumes. She reappeared a few days later in Copenhagen, alone, dressed in black, her expression closed. Commentators saw this as a sign of mourning, not for a death, but for the state of her marriage. The modern fairy tale is cracking. We remember their beginnings, their meeting in Sydney in 2000, the magic of an unlikely love between an Australian citizen and a crown prince. Their wedding in 2004 was hailed as a symbol of a union of cultures, of love beyond borders. For 20 years, they raised their children, Christian, Isabella, Vincent, and Josephine, together in a united, if strictly royal, family atmosphere. But today, what we see resembles a polite cohabitation more than a happy marriage. Les signes se multiplient. Lors du baptême d'une navire militaire, Frederik oublie de mentionner Mary dans son discours. Elle est présente, à quelques mètres seulement. Son visage ne réagit pas, mais les caméras le captent. Les réseaux sociaux s'enflamment. Des experts en étiquette royale analysent chaque mot, chaque silence, chaque déplacement. Certains médias affirment que le couple vit désormais dans des ailes séparées du palais d'Amalienborg. D'autres évoquent des consultations juridiques discrètes pour organiser une séparation sans divorce officiel. Mais pourquoi ce silence? Pourquoi ce théâtre de l'unité maintenu à tout prix? Le Danemark, Monarchy parmi les plus stables et discrets d'Europe, a toujours préservé l'intimité de ses souverains. Mais aujourd'hui, dans un monde ultra connecté, chaque absence devient une présence. Chaque silence résonne comme un éveil. Le roi Frederik, malgré son rôle, semble prisonnier d'un protocole qui lui interdit d'exprimer ses émotions. Mary, quant à elle, s'est repliée dans une dignité glaciale, sans jamais trahir ses sentiments en public. The Danish population, far from rejecting their queen, expresses silent compassion. In the streets of Copenhagen, words of support can be heard. She doesn't deserve this, say some passers-by. You can feel her suffering, whisper others. The women's press praises her courage, her restraint, her loyalty to her commitments. For despite the rumors, Mary continues to fulfill her duties with exemplary professionalism. A quiet strength, say her supporters. A wounded queen, murmur others. And what about the children? Prince Christian, the future king, is at the center of this storm. At only 19, he must maintain the image of monarchical continuity while witnessing his parents' disunity. He keeps a low profile, rarely speaking. In a recent graduation speech, he spoke of resilience, of family ties that we maintain despite hardship. Many saw this as a coded message. As the months passed, tension became the norm. Traveling together was almost non-existent. Each led their official lives separately. Frederik traveled solo. Mary pursued her social commitments, particularly for mental health and youth inclusion. She gave interviews to international media, carefully avoiding any personal topics. But the lack of denial or clarification from the court accentuated the unease. Specialist journalists, for their part, suggested a strategy of soft separation. It wasn't a divorce, but a gradual, quiet separation to avoid an institutional crisis. The Danish monarchy, although firmly established, remained fragile in the public eye. A poorly managed family scandal could tarnish the image of the king, who was still young in office. Some analysts go further. They believe that Mary proposed a temporary separation to protect the children, particularly the twins who were still teenagers. And yet, despite all this, the couple appear together at certain ceremonies. Cold, distant, but together. For the photos, for the symbols, for the longevity of an institution older than their union. But how long can this theater last? The story of Frederik and Mary, once the model of a modern fairy tale, is slipping into that of a love frozen in duty. Behind the scenes, the couple's old friends remain silent. So do members of the royal family. But some indiscretions are filtering out. Mary is said to have found emotional refuge in her Australian roots. She regularly consults with her loved ones in Hobart, perhaps considering a temporary return, or even a semi-permanent residence. Frederik, for his part, immerses himself in his royal duties, multiplying military visits and official speeches. The kingdom remains frozen in expectation. The couple's silence is deafening. The Danes observe, analyze, hope. For beyond the glamour, beyond the protocols, this is a human story. That of two people who have long tried to reconcile love, duty, and appearances. But can a marriage whose heart now beats only in performance really be saved? Danish hearts, however, beat with emotion, worry, and compassion for a queen they love and for a king who sometimes seems so alone. Will the curtain ever fall on this royal theater? Or will we continue to witness this play of masks, between ceremonial coldness and silent wounds? What truth still lies hidden behind the walls of Amalienborg?